Hi, this is Randy. I want to talk a little bit today about how the malignant now spousal narcissist intentions change, or they're not what they seem to be, and how people enable narcissists, and how narcissists are opportunists. So in 2007, the narcissist was anticipating another winter of being out of work, and he came up with the idea that he could flip a house over a winter and that would give him something to do during the winter, and it would give him some money. But of course the narcissist didn't have any money to invest, so he convinced his wealthy parents to buy him a old dilapidated house so that he could fix it. And the deal was that his parents would buy the house with cash, and then the narcissist would use old and used materials that he got off of other jobs and that he had been hoarding to fix up the house. It needed a foundation and roof and all sorts of big ticket items. He would fix that up using his own materials, and then he would sell the house, and he would get half of the profit, half of the equity, pay his parents back, and then split the equity for the house. So I thought this was, a good idea. It would give him something to do during the winter, and if everything went as planned, he would, at least make $20,000 to $30,000 at the end of it. So I agreed. Well, the narcissist got his parents to buy the home, and he did start working on the home. But, the narcissist is very lazy, so he would take other jobs that were going to pay him right away, and he would work on it, intermittently. He did not work on it consistently or daily or anything like that. So the winter came and went, and the house was nowhere near to be in shape to flip and sell to anyone. So then again, the summer he'd be busy, and he decided, try it again the following winter. And in 2008, there was the market crash. So now the home that was purchased was worth even way less than what it was purchased for. So there was going to really be no equity in it. So the narcissist lost interest in fixing the home up and just basically let it sit there. It was just a drag on the system because he still had to go over there and check it, make sure that no one was stealing from, breaking into this abandoned home that appeared abandoned, and mow the lawn, etc. So he didn't do much work on it, and it just basically sat there, but the narcissist would go ahead and use it as storage and dump crap over there. And then he'd have to dump this crap and clean the crap and dump it and clean it, and he'd do a little bit of work, collect different things at flea markets and put up a mirror or something like that, and then he finally did the kitchen. And then his idea is that we would just move in there and sell my house and move in there. Well, I didn't want to, because this house was not anywhere near as nice as mine, and it was further away from everything, kind of in an isolated area, and I really don't like the location. It was near his narcissist mother, closer to her. I didn't want to be closer to her. So I was like, no, if you get this house up to the same standard as my house is at right now, then I'll think about it, but I'm not going to downgrade. I would upgrade at this point. I don't want to move into a house that's worse than the one that I already have. So what happened was toward 2009, 2010, and 2011, that's when I was in the secret discard stage that I was unaware of, and that's when the narcissist was extremely angry, lazy, delusional. So he would lay on the couch. He'd be laying on the couch when I left for work or on his phone, and then when I get home from work, he'd be laying on the couch. So I would get at him, why is he not working? Why isn't he doing anything around the house or anything, like being productive at all? And he said, so what he did was he started going to work, but what I found out was he wasn't really going to work. He was just going over to sit at that other house that he had. At that house, he got some furniture in it, and he just went over there and sat and laid over there. Probably smoked pot and drank as well, and would tell me he's going to do some work, but I don't think he did any work. I think he just went over there and sat so that I wouldn't, notice that he was like not doing it, not working, not being productive. So then, I tried to convince him to put that house up for rent and get it to a point where you could just at least rent it and start getting some money out of it and give your parents like half of the mortgage payment every month, and then you'll have some kind of steady income, and then that house won't be sitting there. Well, he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. I mean, he'd talk about like he was going to do it and think about how much to charge for rent, and then he just wouldn't do it. So anyway, there came a point where he was like giving me an ultimatum, like I needed to move there, and he loved that place, and he really loved that house and their area and how beautiful it is, and I just didn't see it. I didn't see how beautiful it was compared to my house, and I don't think many of you would either, if you could compare the two. It was pretty much still a shithole, and dirty, messy. Had boring paint, colors, old time fixtures. I didn't like it, and I wasn't going to move there. So what he did was, I think he started. That's when he started bringing women over there. Girls, and it became like this evil demon drug den where when I went over there, it it had a really evil kind of feeling, and I wasn't always really welcome over there. At first I was welcome to come over there, but then I wasn't really too welcome to come in, and I would kind of look at the place and try to see, is there any signs of anything, weird going on here? And he would say, oh yeah, his sons stayed there, whatever. It was kind of like some kind of drug flop house. I wasn't understanding why the narcissist wasn't putting it up for rent. Well, anyway, after the divorce, the narcissist parents just signed the home over to him, so it's in his name, and that's how he has a place to live. He never would have a place to live. He has no credit. He had nowhere to go when we got divorced if he hadn't held on to that house, and if his parents didn't just sign the title over to him free of charge, which now gives him the property taxes to pay, and he doesn't even pay those. His parents had been paying the property taxes year after year while that house sat, and they made no money on it, and there were no real attempts to rent it out or flip it. So this is just an example of how I was misled. There was a certain intention. That money that he made from the flipping of that house and others were to be his contribution to our retirement, since I already have a savings for our retirement, for my retirement. And that was to be his, lump sum contribution. But of course, what it ended up was being a little house of horrors with a drug den where you brought different girls, and it's now it's a complete flea market inside and a salvage yard in the backyard. It's never been really fixed up. It's a piece of crap, and it was a gift from the enabling parents of the narcissist. So that's just an example of some of the things that happen. You don't know what the intentions are one thing, and they completely change into something else. Thanks for listening.